All right, I read another book. I try to read multiple books a month, and I'm reading a lot of different things, but I don't really talk about all of them. This one's more on a psychology basis. This book came out in 2005, but I just now read it. It's called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, who's an INFP. I really like INFP books due to the fact that they seem to be able to teach me emotional content in a very simplified way. And that's what I like about them because the INTP struggled with self-value, FI, self-morality, being amoral types of ourselves and not really understanding FI in that sense. So I get to read, Robert Greene and Malcolm Gladwell, books like that. That being said, Blink, how does that affect my life when it comes to typology? And it kind of just confirmed everything I wanted. I already kind of thought, so it's kind of a little confirmation bias, I guess, maybe on my part. But and he talks about thin slicing, which is essentially gathering information and jumping to a conclusion with very little information about people. You see a lot of trouble with people typing themselves, and I don't recommend people type themselves. If you're curious about which one of your 16 types you are, you should have somebody who knows what they're talking about type you. Preferably somebody who does not know much about you and has no kind of personal interest involved, and is just going to look at the data and make a decision and tell you what it is. And if you don't agree with their conclusion, there is a good chance you are wrong and you don't know yourself. And so when you talk about basic mainline psychiatry, it takes a long time for the psychiatrist to get you to understand who you are and why you do the things you do. This is a long process. And so a lot of people will think they're pragmatic, they're really affiliative, or they think they're affiliative and they're really pragmatic. And it's just like a lot of confusion about who you are. And this applies also to people who are typing like close family members, like their wives or husbands or children. There could be a lot of confusion in this sense because you're just so intertwined with them and there's a lot of bias there. And so there's actually a chapter in the book where they're like using the big five to type college students just based on going through their stuff at home, in their dorm room. And they knew more about the people, the strangers who just went through their apartments and their closest friends did. Because you could come to better conclusions based on limited information because the mind in a way reads minds in a way. Now this backfires, and throughout the book you're going to see this in different cases. But this is truly the case in MBTI or even psychology, and typing people in general. And I don't need to, know Lloyd Evans, for instance, to be able to type him. I can look at his interaction with other people. There's plenty of footage on there. I don't need to know that. I just had the information. Okay, bam, bam, bam. Okay, structure type, direct. Okay, he's control. Okay, interaction style, structure type. Okay, what is he? Okay, SI user. Okay, automatically SJ. So bam, right there, ESTJ. I knew right away, what he was with limited information, just in the fact that I watch him interact. When you start trying to I need to search my soul and figure out all this kind of stuff, that INFJ type way of typing people. And I see a big issue, and I love you guys, the INFJs, but you guys make it too emotional, and that's not important with the system. The system is a lot more quick and more efficient than that. Knowing the person and what they like and what they don't like is irrelevant. All that matters is how they interact and what they talk about, essentially. It's that simple. It's that quick and that direct, and how they speak. And so you know how their mind's wired, and you can jump to that conclusion real quick. And so the Thin Slicing and Blink is a really, really good book. I highly recommend it to anybody who's interested in depth psychology, of human psychology, because it really does help. And when you see people complain about people like C.S. Joseph typing in a short amount of time, I'm totally for that. And I think that's all the amount of information you need. And you see the longer typings, when it keeps getting more and more and more information, it gets more convoluted and more confusing. When you initially kind of already knew, because most types have a certain look, and visual typing is kind of in its genesis, even Jungian typology is actually really in its genesis too. This is all, we're kind of building this as we're going right now. And it's not like anybody has 100% accuracy with this, and no one claims that. Well, no one sane claims that. And so, no, you don't need that much time to type people. Initial impressions, you're probably going to be right. And so in the circumstances where I gotta type somebody instantly, in a certain situation, so I know how to manipulate them. And so it's just like, it happens to me all the time. I always get attacked by ESFPs, for instance. And so what's the first thing I do when an ESFP pisses me off on Facebook is I attack their status instantly. Bam. Ruin their credibility, ruin themselves publicly like that, like they attack their child, and it shuts them up instantly, because that's child abuse. Is that nice on my part to do it? No, it's not nice, but I don't know the people. I don't care. I'm not going to feel bad about it later because I don't have any FI. Sorry, sue me. And so, different things like that, how I interact, if anybody sees me on Facebook and things like that, I speak to certain types a certain way, and I try to figure out who they are to begin with. That way I can, address them so I understand where they're coming from. This is why I don't have any enemies that I'm aware of. I don't really have any distrust for anybody because I can understand everybody in that sense. So yeah, I recommend reading the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a great book. I got it, I think, on Overdrive, which is a great app to get because it just links you to your library and you listen to an audiobook. It's all free. All right, so use your libraries, people, even though you can't be there physically.